So moving now to our friend Kim. Kim is joining us from the Space Prize Foundation, and she's going to talk to us about gender and race equality in space.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me here. I'm so excited to be a part of this incredible community of passionate educators. My name is Kim Masharia, and I am the Executive Director of the Space Prize Foundation. I'm also the chair of the board of directors at the Space Frontier Foundation, which we also do some fun work centered around ensuring that the industry does become more equitable and accessible to folks around the globe. So let me just share my screen. Can I share my screen? Yes. All right. And here we go. So I want to talk to you guys today about addressing inequalities in the growing space economy. But before I get to how my organizations are working to do that, I actually want to give you guys a bit of insight into my personal journey into the world of space, because I think it will explain why I am so passionate about these specific topics. So I entered the space industry a few years ago. It all started because of a musical. So I actually had a screenwriting fellowship in college for a few years. And my last script that I wrote as part of this fellowship, where I would get funding to do ethnographic research on American values, my script was actually inspired by a space camp jacket that I got from a thrift store. And so I ended up writing this musical comedy about two women from across the world competing for a free trip to space. And it was during that research process that I came to find out just how difficult it can be for women from around the world to get into the world of space. And so I came to really understand just how difficult it was, particularly for women, minorities, and really folks from non-spacefaring nations, because my script did have two immigrants as the main characters. And so me and my artistic background, I decided to kind of pivot things and see if I could actually make an impact on this industry, because prior to my research for that script, I hadn't understood just how deeply space-based insights, space innovations impact countless aspects of our everyday lives. And I was really disheartened to see that there weren't enough people from a variety of backgrounds who were starting to engage in working industry and have an impact on it. And so I decided as a senior in college to write my thesis, my senior thesis as a philosophy student, about democratizing the space industry. I wanted to explore ways by which we could work to bring in new voices, underrepresented actors into the field. And so that's what I did. And I've had a lot of fun making some waves in the industry thus far. I actually this past March, I just did a panel with some incredible women who have been making waves in industry for decades, yet have not gotten the recognition that I believe they deserve. And so what you see here, we have Dr. Cyan Proctor, she is the fourth Black woman to ever go to space. She is the first Black woman to pilot a spacecraft, which is pretty amazing. We also have Dr. Camille Elaine, who she manages low Earth orbit operations for NASA over in Houston. And we have Lauren Lyons over on the right of the screen, she's held executive positions at SpaceX, at Blue Origin, and at Firefly Aerospace, and she continues to shake up the industry in countless ways. And the reason why I felt like this specific panel was so important for this time in history is that we are still facing a number of inequalities when we look at the general scope of the industry. Right now, less than 12% of all astronauts have ever gone to space, or of all astronauts have ever been women. In addition to that, only 20% of the space industry's workforce is made up of women. And that's especially noteworthy because when you look at actually all STEM disciplines or STEM, with the general STEM workforce, women represent about 35% of the STEM workforce at large. And so that disparity, that 15% disparity is actually quite significant. And I think it's so important that we start to intentionally unpack why that disparity exists, right? When the average person looks at the space industry, if you go talk to somebody, at your local bar or anything like that, I'm sure the first thing they'll mention when you talk about space is Musk, Branson, or Bezos, right? And we, as folks who are excited about the world of space, know a thing or two more than the general public. We can all speak to how that's really not the case, how there are brilliant individuals from a variety of disciplines impacting and enhancing the world of space. Yet the general public does not know that, and therefore they feel like there isn't space in the world of space for them. And how unfortunate is that? I mean, I for one, definitely grew up wanting to become an astronaut. I'm sure there are a few of you in the audience who had wanted to as a kid and likely still want to now. But people view positions like that in this world as something that's not attainable. And so that's what I've been trying to do with a variety of projects that I've worked on over the years. I've also been simultaneously working to address the racial inequalities that exist in the space industry. Up until 2009, only about 14 African Americans had ever gone to space. That number has actually jumped up to 19 now, thanks to the commercialization of space. Actually, most of these new astronauts, these 5 astronauts, Black astronauts who have gone to space in the last 2 years, have gone up with SpaceX and Blue Origin. And so we are starting to see some progress, but given the decades of systemic disenfranchisement that we're combating, we have to fight harder in order to make sure that everybody can get involved before the space industry becomes the $1 trillion industry it's meant to be around 2040. There's room right now for people to make a significant impact and to drive the future of humanity's progression into the stars. And I really believe that that window is about 2 to 5 years for us to really make some good, solid course correction. And so therefore, we really have to be intentional and reflect on the fact that we have a lot of room to grow. And I really do believe that if we strive hard enough, we can ensure that anyone who makes a significant contribution no longer has to be hidden. To that effect, I helped launch this new nonprofit. We've been around since about November, and we're called the Space Prize Foundation. And we are all about empowering young women to participate in the growing space economy. We want to help create a world where talent truly matches opportunity. So why space? Why are we focusing on the world of space? People often come to me and say, we have countless problems on Earth that we can also address gender inequality in a variety of other ways. Why does it have to be focused on space? But as many of you know, space helps us on Earth in countless ways. It helps us solve many of society's biggest challenges. I mean, 90% of the data we really have around climate change comes from space, and most people have no clue that that's even true. So not only are we trying to get these young women excited about engaging in this field that seems elite and elusive, but we want to help them to better understand the ways by which they can leverage all the wonderful things that space gives us to help us here on Earth. And that's something that we find to be especially relevant when we're engaging with Generation Z. They care so much about the sustainability of our planet, and they want to do everything within their power to ensure that generations after them can continue to thrive and survive on this planet. And so helping people to understand the ways in which we leverage satellite technology, it's crucial. And so that's something that's really important to us. And furthermore, what's really, I think, special about space, I love to say that space is the gateway drug to the world of STEM, in my opinion. I think it's a really great ecosystem and idea to get students excited about other things that they can achieve in the world of STEM. Space is just a really great portal for that. And furthermore, if you can get a kid to believe that they can do something in the world of space, something that seems so far out, truly out of this world, you can almost make them believe that anything is possible. And so that's a big part of the reason why we chose to focus on space. And people have also asked us why space matters. Aside from the fact that it gives us information when it comes to GPS. We have GPS satellites thanks to it, the sustainability aspect of it. We also leverage innovations and apply them to countless other sectors across the span of humanity, right? We utilize them when it comes to engaging in healthcare, education as well. But furthermore, people also ask us at Space Prize, why women? Why are we so gung-ho on pushing forward for women to engage in the world of space? Why isn't it about everybody engaging in the world of space? Well, despite 60 years of space exploration, like some of the numbers that I mentioned beforehand, we are not seeing a relevant amount of progress. Given the number of little girls that I can go find at any school over here in New York City where I'm based, who will tell me that they love space, that they're excited about it, we're not seeing that same level of engagement when it comes to women actually choosing to enter the field. And so together, we really believe that we can help to change these statistics and make gender equity in space a reality for the next generation. So to that effect, we decided to launch a competition to get young women excited about the world of space. So like I mentioned, I'm based in New York City, which is where we launched our pilot program. So what we're trying to do is give away these astronaut-related experiences to young women to get them excited about the world of space. So we gave away a zero-G flight to one girl in every borough here in New York City. And we also gave them a year of mentorship. And the mentorship component actually came because of some recommendations we got from one of our dear friends and colleagues, Dr. Camille Lane, who I showed on the prior slide. She was excited about the fact that we were giving away this awesome experience of going on a zero-G flight, but she was unsure about the full impact, the long-term impact that this experience would have if it wasn't coupled with something that would provide the girls with an extra layer of understanding when it comes to how they can get engaged in the world of space. So we brought on some amazing mentors and judges to supply our girls with a wealth of knowledge. And so our girls, our current 5 winners, are meeting with their mentors once a month. And they also have quarterly meetings where they get to have group mentoring sessions as well. And we have a few different fun perks that are in store for them. We've been giving them a lot of surprises and building out this contest in a way that has gone beyond our expectations, thanks to a number of amazing partners who have come on board to help us really expand the vision of what Space Prize could be. So here are some of our incredible judges and mentors. So our mentors and judges come from a variety of disciplines because we don't want the girls to just think that you have to be a rocket scientist or an astronaut if you want to get in the world of space. There are countless other pathways into the industry. And so we've brought on space marketers, space lawyers, an urban planner focused on space investors to bring forward a variety, a strong, robust set of knowledge for these girls to take on and leverage to impact their own personal journeys into the world of space. So some of our incredible mentors and judges include Poppy Northcutt, the first female engineer in NASA, in the NASA Mission Control Room during the Apollo era. We have Megan Crawford, managing partner at Space Funds, Danya Douglas Bradshaw, director at NASA, and Sita Santi, former head of human spaceflight at SpaceX. And we've already begun to see the invaluable impact of these mentorship opportunities on our amazing young women. They are really soaking in everything that these incredible leaders are giving to them. So just to give you guys a little peek into what we did for this contest. So we ended up picking 5 schools to partner with across the city. So we picked 5 schools, 1 school in each borough. And we got our finalists from each of those schools and funneled them into our contest. So to get all the different schools excited about submitting their applications, we actually went around and visited all 5 schools in one day, which is a lot of driving, if anyone knows how hard it can be to get from Staten Island to the Bronx. But it really was an incredible day. And we sat down with the girls, and I was really pleasantly surprised to see the thought-provoking questions they were asking during our sit-down sessions. For instance, the picture you see here of myself at one of our participating schools in the Bronx, the girls asked a number of various, scientific related questions about space exploration and such, and we geeked out and had a good time. But then towards the end of our conversation, things went a bit deeper, and they started to ask me, how often are you the only person who looks like you when you attend space conferences? How do you deal with that sensation of feeling like you don't quite belong sometimes? And we unpacked that together, and it was a truly beautiful conversation. And so once we got past that point where we were going to visit the schools, getting them excited about what Space Prize was going to offer to their communities, we then ran our essay contest. The contest is actually an essay contest, and a video submission was involved as well. And so the young women were writing about the impact of the overview effect when it came to them reflecting on an aspect of change that they went through in their lives. And the essays are just phenomenal to read. They really inspired me. And you can actually find them on our website at spaceprize.org. But those young women were quite incredible. And so it was so hard to narrow down from the finalist pool that we got submissions from. But we did want to start, because we were so impressed by the young women, we did want to give them another special surprise, right? So we actually took them on a field trip to the New York City Space Challenger Center. And they got to experience a simulated Mars mission. They were doing hands-on interactive activities and just getting the chance to connect with all of the finalists, all 24 of the finalists from all of the 5 participating schools. And watching them connect and share and celebrate each other was incredible. But what was almost even more incredible was that very same day, thanks to a partnership through one of our incredible partners, Female Quotient, an incredible organization dedicated to addressing gender inequalities across a variety of industries. We partnered with them and were able to get all 24 of our finalists featured on a billboard in Times Square. And that billboard ran for an entire week. And the girls were sending me pictures of them going over there with their grandparents, with their families, with their teachers. And to see the way in which this powerful moment, this powerful piece of representation really impacted these young women, and then the ripple effect it had on their friends as I started to hear how excited all of their friends were for these deserving young women, for these finalists, it was incredible. And we've been able to get a number of fantastic partners to come on board since then, because people are really starting to understand the vision of this, that yes, we're giving away these astronaut-related experiences, but it's not just about giving these young women the chance to go do something they've never done before, that's out of this world, that is almost a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. It's not just about that. It's about the impact they're going to have on people that they see on their everyday lives. And the fact that there were countless people in New York City who got to see a variety of young women featured on a billboard that says, "Let's talk gender equity in space." I mean, you can't ask for more than that. So furthermore, we ended up having an awards ceremony where we actually celebrated the winners of this contest. And I'd like to show you guys a video of one of our winners. Her name is Alexis Safransky. She's from Staten Island, and she was so inspired by the community that she started to build with her fellow competitors. In addition, she was also quite inspired by another woman you see here, Rachel Crane. We've been bringing a lot of really great special guests for our students as well. And so Rachel Crane is actually a CNN correspondent, the space correspondent there. And she really made the girls get excited about all the different possibilities that are out there for them when it comes to engaging in the world of space. And so I'm going to share this video. Make sure, could you guys hear that? There we go. Can you guys hear that?
Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to start by saying that space has always been a passion and interest of mine since I was a kid. I've spent my free time as a child, even as a 5-year-old, staring up at the stars, wondering what is out there rather than watching TV and cartoons and any of that other stuff. I'd watch videos and books and read books about space and the possibilities that lie beyond our own Earth. And it's just always astonished me how far we have come from the past 50 years, 60 years, something like that, and how much we have grown as a race of humans to be able to go beyond our own planet. I mean, I've always been the person who's curious about what humans are capable of, and I've pushed myself to that standard every day since I was born. And winning the space prize is more than just the opportunity to go on that zero gravity flight. It's the opportunity to become the person my childhood self envisioned and the person who I always admired from a young age. I mean, I have a lot of people to thank for being here. My mother, she's here, and she has always been my woman in STEM. She's inspired me to do so many things, go beyond my comfort zone, push my abilities to be the best version of myself. My aviation teacher, Mr. Rosh, is here too. And he's the one who really introduced me to all this, to the possibility of becoming somebody beyond the most basic doctor, lawyer, everything that you think of like that, to become somebody who I couldn't even dream of being 10 years ago. So it's really, really, truly been a passion of mine. And I recently just came back from Huntsville, Alabama space camp, where we did a bunch of cool things, like a simulated mission on the ISS, which was phenomenal. I mean, Maria, Ivy, Brittany were all there with me, and we've grown so much to the point where I want to be beyond getting my pilot's license or anything like that. I want to possibly, hopefully, become an astronaut in the future, because honestly, that's the impact this has all been on me. And with everything gained from this experience, I'm not only one step closer to knowing more about space, I'm one step closer to knowing more about myself and what I'm capable of, to be a representative for those who are out there, to be the person people admire, like I have admired so many others. So thank you.
So as you can see, we had quite a fantastic time watching these young women share their experiences as a part of the Space Prize competition. And from all of the incredible winners, each gave a speech that evening, and they all were as moving as that one. And seeing the impact that this contest has already had on these young women over the span of just a few months, as they've gotten to know one another, got to know our foundation more, has been profound. And we're so excited to be able to continue to expand this, to give away this experience to countless others. So here are a few additional photos from the girls' trip to space camp. They had the most wonderful time. And then they finally got to go on the zero-G flight. So it just happened about 3 weeks ago. The girls got to go on this incredible experience, and we have an hour-long interview coming out soon with all the girls. So we interviewed them after the flight. And me listening to an interview, I was getting goosebumps the entire time. But you can see here, they were truly living their best lives in this moment. And I actually got to go up with them, which is really, really fun. And we brought over Denise Crosby, who is a Star Trek actress, to join the girls on the flight as well. So to say they had an incredible day is to say the least. And beyond them just getting to have these incredible experiences, I really want to emphasize the importance of the fact that they formed a community during this time. These girls are now dear friends of one another. They got a group chat going on, and they're now able to support one another as they pursue their own individual endeavors related to the world of STEM and space as well. And I think that's the thing that's inspired me the most about it so far, is seeing the impact what they're having on each other, and knowing that the story that they have now, that they are not just Space Prize winners, but Space Prize ambassadors. I just cannot wait to see the impact and the way in which this level of representation will inspire countless other students. But we're not stopping here. Space Prize New York City, we had an amazing time. As you saw, our pilot program exceeded our expectations. And now we're getting ready to launch a series of worldwide contests to further promote the advancements of women in STEM, especially in aerospace. And so we'll be facilitating additional contests. We'll be giving away zero-G flights, analog astronaut missions, and eventually a space perspective flight. That's our goal. We have some reservations on a space perspective flight for 2024. So we're excited to be able to launch a global contest down the road. But not only are we doing these incredible contests where we're giving away these life-changing experiences, we're also launching an education program and trying to promote universal space literacy. So what is the Space Prize curriculum? This is something that we'll be launching in August, and it will be freely available to teachers and students around the globe. It's a customizable open source space education curriculum. It can be used for middle and or high school students, and it's accessible worldwide. And we're building this to really support educational equity. I just did a talk with Lift Off Africa, where we spoke to students across the continent who were excited about the world of space. And I spent a good bit, about 15-20 minutes at the end after the call was all done, talking to the students who were just so eager to learn more about the world of space. And the biggest thing we talked about was just, where do they find these resources? Where do they find ways by which they can learn more about astrophysics and other topics that are related to space science? And this is our attempt to start doing that, to make it easier. And thanks to the really fantastic partnerships that we have across the globe with organizations that are actively working to provide these resources to students who typically wouldn't have a clue as to how to get involved in the world of space. This is our attempt to start doing that. And so it provides an introduction to space science, the solar system, and the history of space exploration, but it also goes a bit further. So we also want to emphasize to students, because like I mentioned before, this generation of students, they care about the earth, sustainability, and they want to fully understand why space matters. And so we break that down for them in our curriculum. We also focus on the skill sets and mindsets that students need to be successful in solving the complex problems of the future. And we really want to make sure we're preparing students to be active participants in the development of anything related to the future when it comes to the growing space economy. And we also want to provide them with detailed information as to how the new space economy is currently developing. A lot of students tend to only be able to name, the 3 big companies, Virgin Galactic, Blue Origin, SpaceX. We want to introduce them to the countless others like Planet and Astroforge that are doing groundbreaking work to support humanity's expansion into the cosmos. And we also plan to talk about in this curriculum issues of sustainability, government, and ethics as well. So we're so excited to launch that curriculum. It'll be launching, like I said, in August of this year. But in addition to that, we are starting to do more contests already. So we have a contest coming up in Paris, and I think the deadline for those submissions are actually this week. So we are wrapping that one up and starting to get into the judging process. So for this contest, we decided to customize it a bit and tailor the overview of the essay question to the needs and the community needs of the students that we were reaching out to in Paris. And so previously our question was just centered around the overview effect, but after some fantastic feedback from one of our main partners, Priyanka, who's serving as our Space Prize ambassador representative over in Paris on the ground for us, we decided to shift the question and have it be centered more around sustainability and how space can be utilized to protect life here on Earth. And so that's the focus of our essay question. I am so excited to read these essays once they've been translated, because we are allowing the girls to actually write in French. That was something that was really important to us, was that if we're going to expand globally, we want to adapt our contest and function in a way that people can fully engage, because obviously it is much more easy to write an essay, a powerful, impactful essay in your native tongue. And so we've brought on judges and mentors from across the industry who do speak French. And I'm so excited to dive into reviewing these essays with them. And so for this contest, the reason we chose Paris is because IAC is coming up in Paris this September. And for those who don't know, IAC is the International Astronautical Congress. It's the biggest space conference basically in the world, and it changes countries every year. And this year it happens to be in Paris. And so we will be announcing the winners of our contest in Paris this September. And we're so excited. Not only that, all 5 of our finalists will get a year of mentorship as well. And we're already securing some really fun perks in the meantime. We're working to get a couple internship opportunities for these participating students as well, some field trips involved. It's going to be a really great time. And so we're hoping to make this Paris contest just as robust and exciting and as engaging as the one we did in New York City. Not only are we launching this curriculum, we have our new contest coming up, but we also have weekly webinars that you guys are all welcome to tune into to share with your students. I host them sometimes. We also bring in special guests to host the events as well. And these webinars typically takes place at 7 p.m. Eastern. So if you guys want to register for those, you can visit spaceprize.org/speakers to register. And we bring in some really great heavy hitters. This week, actually tonight, we have Soyeon Yi, who is South Korea's first and only astronaut. She's also an incredible author and inspiring speaker. And so if you guys want to tune in tonight, you can visit that link and go check that out. Most recently, we've had Chris Boshin, who's the co-founder of Planet. He's also recently a Blue Origin astronaut himself. And he's a managing partner at the DC, at a major firm, investing firm in the space industry. We also have Vanessa Clark, who's coming up soon. She is the co-founder of Atomos. And we have Kristin Browski, who is one of the incredible astronauts from the Inspiration 4 mission. If you guys are familiar with that, he recently spoke to our students and left them with some fantastic insights and food for thought. And so again, we host these weekly webinars. We have people from across the industry, from a variety of disciplines coming in to share their perspective, share their journeys, and we leave a solid amount of time for Q&A at the end of each of these webinars. And so just to give you guys some insights into who our team is behind this project, it's myself as executive director. We have Dr. Mark Wagner, who's our president and who is spearheading the development of our education curriculum. We also have Roman Chuparuka, who helped to sell the last ticket for the most recent Axiom flight that took place, I believe was back in April. We also have Suzanne Moore and then Eddie Miller as key parts of our team. And the woman who helped to make all of this possible and helped to spearhead the launch of this project, her name is Caroline Starzik. We are so grateful for her. She is a venture capitalist, entrepreneur who is passionate about getting women excited about the world of space and just STEM in general. And so we partnered with Caroline to launch Space Prize, and we are so honored that she helped us bring this project to life, given the impact that it's already had. Not only do we have the help of Caroline when it comes to bringing this project to life, we have a number of other partners who've come on board to help us expand the mission and reach of Space Prize. And a number of these companies and nonprofits are doing prolific work to make the industry more accessible in countless ways. But we're not just partnering with space companies and fellow space nonprofits. We've also partnered with organizations like Project Zero, who they do some incredible work centered around ocean conservation. And for those who don't know, ocean conservation is heavily dependent on Earth observation. And so we've partnered together to tackle that aspect of universal space literacy as a collective and to ensure that both of our audiences are fully aware of how these two things, ocean conservation and space exploration, are actually deeply connected. We've also partnered up with some educational organizations like Prep for Prep, which they run an incredible program here in New York City, where they help students from certain cities get into some really exclusive private schools in the city as well. And Dear Club for the Future, who I'm a big fan of, we are partnered with them and they're giving us some great resources as well. So we have a great selective of folks who are cooperating with and sharing resources with, because we all believe that, you know, a rising tide raises all ships, and we're all really pursuing this collective vision of helping to ensure that humanity's progression to the stars, humanity's multi-planetary future is created and pursued in a way that is fair to all. And we're also working to build out more contests. So we have a few in the works that I can't quite talk about yet, but we are partnering with a number of different organizations and cities and such to launch additional Space Prize contests. And we try to make this a really fun, collaborative process for everyone involved. So we work through the ideation process and we figure out what are the key components of a contest? What impact are you trying to have? For instance, if you were to create a contest in LA where there's a significant space presence already, versus Brownsville, where there's a company or two really dominating that area, what does that look like? What does that community need? And how can we tailor this contest to best serve the needs of that community? Whether it comes to the age restrictions we set up, the essay contest, and we throw away the essay contest and switch things up a bit. We're very, very flexible, and our main focus is really to ensure that we're supporting the communities that we're partnering with. And then we go through the planning process, again, making sure that we're all aligned and good to go. And then we prototype it. We've done our prototype of the New York City contest. So anyone who ever wants to do an essay or video contest, we're always good to go. And then we launch it and bring it out to the world. And so in addition, as we start to expand humanity's presence into the cosmos and we get all these new partners and actors excited about the world of space, we're actively working to produce content centered on promoting how space really relates to the sustainable development goals. And when that regards quality education, gender equality, affordable and clean energy, reducing inequality, climate action, and peace, justice, and strong institutions. So we've actively been talking to our now newly minted Space Prize ambassadors about the ways by which they think students like them would want to see this kind of information represented. And we're specifically making sure that we bring them in throughout the entire process, because we are so inspired by them and want to leverage the incredible insights they have to offer as we work to expand the vision of Space Prize. Furthermore, just for reference for everyone, here are a few amazing women that have driven and really revolutionized the world of space in countless ways. Some of them I get to call friends, and they're all still doing some phenomenal work even to this day. And so what we've actively been working to do as well is to find unique ways by which we can spotlight women like the ones you see on this screen and get these girls excited about the future of space and let them know that there are folks who have paved the way for them so that they can live out their true dreams and start to dream bigger and aim higher. So to that effect, thank you guys so much for having me here. I'd love to take some questions if you guys have any, but if you want to learn more about spaceprize.org, feel free to let me know. I'll also add too, with the Space Frontier Foundation, we're also doing some really fun work centered on making industry more accessible. We just released our diversity, equity, and inclusion toolkit that's been really well received across the industry. And I will actually drop a link for that so you guys can have that as well. This toolkit has actionable steps and frameworks for companies of all levels, major companies and really startups, because it is our focus at the Space Frontier Foundation. But we provided these resources utilizing a fantastic team. We brought on a data scientist to put things together for us and to expand the scope by which we wanted to impact all the companies who are reaching out to us and actively asking, how do we address this problem? So here's a link to our toolkit. I'll drop that in the chat for you guys. Wonderful, but thank you so much. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat or come off mute or anything. Happy to talk about the work that we're doing at Space Prize and some other ways by which we are trying to make the industry more accessible.
Thank you so much, Kim. And I think we have a high level of interest in creating a contest with you. So getting lots of messages from folks that are attending and who aren't able to attend as well, who wanted to get involved. So we'll definitely be circling back with you on that.